So the people that Boosie paid, aren't they like known scammers? They got a pretty shady track record. The two guys are Jack Burkman and Jacob Wohl. They've been convicted of election-related fraud for those robocalls targeting black voters back in 2020. Settled a big lawsuit over it, and they've been tied to spreading fake news stories before. They're known in political circles as far-right operatives with a history of controversial stunts. So yeah, plenty of folks would call them scammers, especially since Boosie paid them 600 grand and got nothing. He's in arbitration right now trying to get half of it back. People need to go ahead and learn the word research people you're dealing with to see what type of results you're going to get. Because Boosie just filed a $300,000 lawsuit. We're going to break down exactly what the hell happened. First with this. How Boosie BadAzz pardon pushed her into a mega mess. The rapper hired two operatives known more for antics than advocacy to help him secure clemency from Trump. Boosie is now fighting to retrieve $300,000 from them. In January, a federal judge sentenced Boosie BadAzz to 10 days of time served in prison and 3 years of supervised release, but federal prosecutors are seeking to revoke his supervised release for the federal gun charge after he was accused of violating the conditions in May. But let's get on to it. On New Year's Day, rapper Boosie BadAzz received a call from his lawyer that he'd been given a second chance. Two men, whom Boosie paid $600,000 about 3 months earlier, had said in a phone call with his lawyer that they secured for him a pardon signed by President Donald Trump. The act of clemency would have wiped away his federal rap sheet and saved him from an imminent sentencing hearing for possessing a firearm as a felon. But that pardon never materialized. Now, Boosie, whose legal name is Torrance Hatch, is taking legal action against Jacob Wohl and Jack Burkman, two far-right political operatives and lobbyists at J.M. Burkman and Associates, to recoup half of Boosie's payment as stipulated in a contract. Notice reviewed. So far, the pair have refused, citing an overrun of costs and conversations with Boosie's lawyer handling the arbitration, Jill Kraft. They also said they were effectively bankrupt, according to text messages reviewed by Notice. J.M. Burkman and Associates said in a statement to Notice that no provision to return half the fee was ever actually agreed to. This is the first known arbitration taken against a pardon lobbyist or firm during Trump's second term. Boosie's legal actions underscore the high-stakes pardon economy that's taken shape as Trump returned to the White House and fundamentally changed how pardons are decided. In previous administrations, the Justice Department has traditionally housed the formal pardon process before presenting qualified candidates to the president. That process is largely absent under the Trump administration, where instead a handful of White House aides routinely guide who is considered for a pardon. The president has the final word when it comes to pardons, and his pardon power is nearly absolute for federal cases. The changes have fostered a growing clemency economy outside the White House, where people with ties to Trump or his aides sell their influence to those looking for a pardon. Millions of dollars have been paid to lobbyists, lawyers, and pardon advocates to petition the White House for their clients' clemency, with no real oversight over who outside the White House is profiting and whether they can deliver on their promises. Then, the day before the lawsuit came out, a woman had actually came out and said, yo, I already know what the hell this is about. So we get to find out exactly what it was before what it was. And don't worry, I got the contract so you can decipher for yourself. But let's see what she said, because certain things seem right and certain things don't. Roll it. My new lawsuit in court will be national news. Then Angela Stanton King, she already broke it. What happened? Is this about the fact you knowingly went around me and handed $600,000 to some white guys you didn't even know, people with no legitimate access to this administration because they promised they could get you a pardon? I had already taken you directly to the White House and told you I would help you. Let's be clear. Selling pardons is illegal. No one, and I mean no one, can promise a presidential pardon on behalf of the president, Alice Johnson, or anyone else involved in the clemency process. As your sister, I asked you to let me handle it. Instead, you assume that white was automatically right. What I don't understand is how we can spend so much time talking about white privilege while simultaneously empowering by trusting complete strangers over people who have actually earned your trust and have real relationships. That's Boosie in a nutshell, though, baby. Here's a lesson for our community. White isn't always right, and favor doesn't have a skin color. The wildest part, after they took your money, they reached out to me. Boosie, I had your back from the beginning. You even recorded a song with RFK for me. I'm genuinely sorry this happened to you. And thank you for the boxes of potato chips you donated to Auntie Angie's house. Let this be a reminder. Nobody is coming to save our communities but us. We have to stop overlooking our own while chasing the illusion that someone else has better access, better answers, or more value simply because of skin color. It's on us to build it. It's on us to protect it. It's on us to save our own communities. A lot of what she said, though, is massively hypocritical. You're saying don't depend on quote unquote white people to essentially save us. Let me help you out, Miss King. We don't give a shit about white people. We care about what the government that we pay for, that we vote in, that we do a whole bunch of shit in to hold true to what they said in the paper. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King. Same King that you got your last name from, yeah? All right, cool. So let's just break it all the way down and get into this lawsuit and see exactly, well, not the lawsuit. Let's get into the contract and see if Boosie got bamboozled, if Boosie can't read, if he proved why Louisiana is number 49th in education. I don't know, but I will let you know. So let's go ahead and get into it. They talk about Boosie. They glad to work with him and all this crap. And where they are in the background is that they're in good standing for the last 40 years and all this shit and whatever the hell. And then the scope of the services. And this right here is where it probably gets tricky. So I'm literally reacting to this in real time. All right. So to provide exclusive strategic advisory and advocacy services for the sole purpose of seeking and securing a full presidential pardon for the charges to which client has pleaded guilty in the matter of the United States versus Torrance Hatch. We'll talk about it being in California. Pardon petition strategy and development, crafting a compelling and comprehensive narrative for the pardon petition, emphasizing mitigating factors such as client's acceptance of responsibility, because you obviously have to do that, his extensive community and charitable work, and nonviolent nature of his predicate offenses, the unique procedural history of the matter, and the impact of the conviction on his family and the ability to provide for him. Oh, that's cute. Department of Justice advocacy, preparing and submitting and managing a formal petition for pardon. Where's the promise, though? This where I'm trying to see. Like, they're basically saying we're crafting a play to help you. It doesn't necessarily say that he's going to get out. White House engagement, conducting high-level strategic outreach, indirect lobbying with key officials within the White House counsel's office to ensure the pardon. Petition receives thorough and favorable consideration. Okay, and so I ain't trying to sound disrespectful, but so what? And classifications and limitations. Client acknowledges and agrees that the power to grant a pardon rests solely and exclusively with the President of the United States. Consultant makes no promise, representation, or guarantee as to the outcome of the pardon petition. That right there just killed the whole entire damn lawsuit. The services provided under the agreement are strictly for lobbying and strategic advisory purposes and are separate from any legal representation related to client sentencing or any subsequent appeal in the matter. All activities will be conducted in full compliance with Lobbying Disclosure Act and all other applicable federal laws and ethics regulations. Now, I can see if somebody said, you know what, this is just formal shit, but we're gonna get the pardon. So they could have, if it's all on recording or some shit like that, and they say, yeah, you know, we recorded this, then so be it. Because if they say something to the effect of, this right here has to be legally said, wink, wink, you know what I'm saying? Then there you go. And if you don't know what wink, wink means, it means this is what we had to say for the public, but in private, this is what we're gonna do. So term of engagement, this term of agreement shall commence on the date signed. We don't care. Billing matters, retainer fee. Whoo, shit. In consideration for the services described in the scope of services, clients shall pay consultant a flat fee retainer of $600,000. Non-refundable portion, 300,000 United States dollars of the retainer fee is non-refundable and shall be considered earned in full by consultant upon receipt for services rendered and to be rendered. Basically, if they show that they sent something to somebody in the White House, Boosie, you're not getting a damn penny. Contingent refundable portion. If a full presidential pardon for the matter is not secured for the client by close of, oh, here we go. There you go, Boosie. All right, man. I ain't know you're super green, brother. But hey, these things happen. If a full presidential pardon for the matter is not secured for the client by close of business on January 31st, 2025, consultant shall refund 300,000 United States dollars to the client. This refund is conditioned upon the following procedure. The client must submit a written request to the consultant for the refund. Consultant shall return the funds within 3 business days of receiving the client's written request. The funds shall be transferred via bank wire to a bank account designated in writing by the client. So, yeah, all right, Boosie should be getting his money back. I don't need to read no more of this shit. Nah, I don't care about none of this. Y'all seen it. Y'all seen this shit. Nah, we good. So it starts off genuine. We might can do this. We might can do that. All of these things, it's not guaranteed. But then when we got to the bottom, it basically was said the pardon was in the bag. But if we don't get the pardon, and that's where the part where I'm going to look at a contract if I'm Boosie's lawyer, because a lawyer's paid for their consultation. They're paid for their education. They're paid for their ability to super understand what we call contract law. And if anybody who's watching this doesn't understand what I'm about to say, let me give you a preview. If you ever sign a contract, it is on the person who presented the contract to you to break it down in such simplistic terms that you understand. I don't give a shit if it takes you all night. If you don't know what the hell perpetuity means, then goddamn it, you better have them look it up while you sitting there looking at Google and see how it applies and doesn't apply. But for Boosie, I'm going to be honest. Your lawyers that you've been picking been ass. Flat out. The only good one you got is the one in San Diego, but I'm going to be fair, square, obvious, and honest. You really didn't win with that shit either, because what we've been seeing with your case and Pee Wee Longway's case is once we see that the feds, the lawyers in the feds ain't telling the truth all the way, they typically go with what your lawyer says. And I'll prove that later on. Don't worry. Have y'all bells on for that one. But Nash, what the hell? What should we take away from this? That contract looked flimsy as hell. In one instance, and this is where y'all should know, people in life do this shit to you, run the hell away. If I say it's a possibility I can do this, and then say, I actually can do this, but just in case I don't do this, this is what you're going to get, don't do it. There should have been no need for the second line of that shit to say, we're going to secure this pardon and all of this shit. That's contradictory from the first line. It was all about the 600,000. They probably sat back like, look at this stupid ass idiot. I don't know what they were thinking. But that right there, in Trump's administration, shit, all right. I don't feel sorry for Boosie because, Boosie, you do a lot of bragging how you make, $50,000 to $100,000 a weekend. So get up there and shake your ass for 2 months damn near? You be all right. But should he sue? Hell yeah. It's written in the contract that if he doesn't get the pardon, $300,000 is supposed to be given right back to him. But that bankruptcy part, that's the part where if that's true, bruh, whew, especially if they filed a Chapter 7 versus a Chapter 11. If you don't know the difference between that, Chapter 11 lets you itemize shit, make smaller ass payments. Like if I owed you $100,000, I can give you $200 until my undying day, opposed to a Chapter 7 that say, I ain't got shit. It is what it is. But y'all, let me know y'all thoughts on this one. Click right here, though, to see the goddamn interview that's shaking up the industry right now. Ceddy, Nash, and the Visionaries. We just did 100K on this damn interview that's pissing a lot of bitch-ass niggas off. Click right here for that video, or I'll just catch y'all in the next one.